on them. So we'll be looking at flowers and bulbs and planting them up and making the garden look pretty, but every flower and bulb in your garden, every plant in your garden needs a good place to start. It needs a good home, it needs good soil to be planted in, it needs good nutrients. Well, what we're talking about now is really going to help with that. It's the Carbon Gold 1 kilogram tube of the concentrated biochar soil improver. 501353 is your item number, £9.72 is your price. And the man that's brought us today, the man that created it, the man who invented it, is Mr. Craig Sams. Craig, it's absolutely lovely to have you here with us today.
Nice to see you, Michal.
Craig, I'm really excited about this. This has been on the garden market for about just over a year,
That's
Craig.
right.
And it's taken the gardening market by storm because it's special.
It's very special. It's unique.
Well, what exactly is it, Craig?
Well, we call it bio-char. It's basically a mixture of biochar, which is a form of charcoal that we grind fine and into small particles. We mix it with mycorrhizal fungi, worm casts, so that gets the biology going. The mycorrhizal fungi and the worm casts have bacteria that work with them. And then we put in seaweed for the trace element. So that you then have biochar that gets going right away, and that's why we call it grow-char. Well,
before we get into any further detail, Craig, I'm just intrigued. How did you get into this? How did you get into creating a kind of soil enrichers?
Well, my background has been in organic food. And in fact, my wife and I founded Green and Black's Chocolate.
Ah, OK.
So we've worked with organic growers for 20 years in the tropics and even longer in Britain. So I understand the importance of soil structure, that if you get the soil right, that's why the Soil Association is called the Soil Association. They certify this product, by the way, as for organic use.
That's really good to know.
And so if you get your soil structure right, so many of the problems gardeners have just melt away. And that's where grow-char comes into the picture.
So, Craig, what does it do for your plants?
Does three things. One, it holds nutrients in the upper level of the soil.
Yeah.
It encourages the mycorrhizal fungi. It gives them, you know, each little piece like that, each little piece of biochar is like a 5-star hotel for mycorrhizal fungi. They get in there, and that gives them somewhere that's safe, where they can then grow and spread through, make their network in the soil. And that helps to retain nutrients. Secondly, it's porous. Again, it retains water. It retains moisture in the soil so that plants don't dry out. And even if the soil dries out, the mycorrhizal fungi survive that drying out and come back strong as soon as there's a bit of rain or moisture again. And the third thing is, when you get a strong colony of bacterial and mycorrhizal activity, that's the plant's immune system. That's what protects it from all the diseases that normally come through soil.
So, healthier plants. So
healthier plants.
There's a lot of science behind this. It's a lot of proven science technology here. But how easy is it to use? How do you use it?
Let me show you how to use it. Now, I've got these. These were started in a biochar amended seed compost. That's all you do. You just put the tiniest bit on the soil.
So there's not much at all. So this goes a long way, this tube.
Well, once you dip it in, and you then take your plant. I'll take this one here.
So you don't appear to have used too much there, so you only need a small amount, Craig, do you?
Well, first of all, these started in biochar compost. Look at that root system for that little plant.
Let me have a look. I love the root system. Oh,
Richard, that's a good root system, we know that.
Look at that little seedling there coming on there, young plant. That's a fantastic one.
Well, we work with a lot of organic commercial growers, and they love the way it gets their plants. The germination rate is more than 95%.
So how, you just sort of make your planting hole?
Make your planting hole, drop it in, give it a bit of water, and what happens then, when you transplant, you don't get transplant shock. Once they're in there, if they've got biochar, they grow away really quickly. The grow-char helps them connect into the soil, so the plant is starting to draw nutrients almost immediately.
So you get healthier plants, better root system, better retention of nutrients, better water retention as well. But what's special about this goes a long, long way. Do you know, this will basically be enough to plant up to 150 plants this size.
From just this 1 kilogram tube?
I know,
That's
it's
a lot.
extraordinary.
You don't need much. You just get it around the root ball.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And then it's... Because that's where most of the mycorrhizal fungi activity is around the roots.
So every time you plant, whether you're planting up your pots, your baskets, your borders, now or going into the winter, going into the spring, just use it, and you only use it once, don't you?
That's the point. It's an investment.
Yeah.
You put it in the soil once, and year after year after year, it's still there.
So it stays
in fact,
in the soil?
The benefits increase as it builds soil structure. It doesn't break down. It's almost pure carbon. And so the only way you can really get it out of the soil is if you ran over it with a flamethrower and burned it away, which obviously you're not going to do.
No.
So as long as it's in the soil, there are examples from the Amazon where the great civilizations were built on terrible soils, but they used this to build good soil structure and feed themselves. And it's still there, and they've carbon dated it to 3,000–4,000 years ago. So that's how long it will last.
So it's almost like a secret of our ancestors. Having used this, we've now brought it bang up to date. So there's a lot of science behind it. Every time you plant anything in the garden, in pots, containers, just use this, and it will work for years.
Well, I love that you don't have to keep repeating it year after year, as you might have to do with other soil enrichers. Once you put that in, as Craig was saying, it's actually going to improve. It's actually going to get better each year. 501353 is your item number. It's Carbon Gold 1 kilo tube of the concentrated biochar soil improver, just £9.72. You only need a tiny little amount for each plant that you do. And those large plants, you can do about 150 of them with that 1 kilo tube. There's about 100 people on the phone lines. It's very busy out there. Not surprising, for less than £10, you can be really, really improving and enriching the nutrient quality of your soil year after year after year by using it just once.
Craig, thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig, for that. 501353 is your item number there. We've got some sellout news for you. Congratulations to you if you managed to get the Diego 30 Majestic Allium bulb collection in your borders. Quick little reminder for you. Craig Sams was in telling us about his soil improver. It's the Carbon Gold 1 kilo tube of the concentrated biochar soil improver. There's only about 200 of these left. 501353 is your item number. Less than £10, just £9.72. And Richard, as you were saying, you used so little of this. There's enough in there to plant out about 150
smallish plants. Well, the sort of size you'd be buying from the garden centre,
fantastic.
the 9-centimetre pots.
And the thing with this as well, once you use it once, it's in the soil there like forever and ever.
Working its magic for years.
And it actually improves each year, year on year, getting better and better and better each time. 501353 is your item number for that one. OK, we've got to move on. We're getting